This is an AI-generated podcast based on the article From the Shadows to the Spotlight, How Kristin Ebanks Built LeadTrue on Faith, Courage, and Refusing to Stay Hidden, written by Apryl. The article link is in the show notes. Welcome to Kingdom Factor Collective. I'm your host, Apryl, and today I'm sitting down with Kristin Ebanks, founder of LeadTrue, a leadership communications practice built around helping leaders show up with visibility, trust, and credibility. Kristin spent 20 years at World Vision, one of the world's largest Christian humanitarian organizations, building the voices of executives from behind the scenes, and now she's doing the very thing she spent decades helping others do. Kristin, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Apryl. It's really wonderful to be here.
So I want to start right there. 20 years behind the scenes, you were the director of leader communications, working directly with the president of a 33,000-person organization operating across 100 countries. And you've described that as hiding. Can you unpack that a little?
Yeah, it really was hiding, even though it didn't feel that way at the time. I was very service-oriented, like a servant leader. And my focus was really on helping everybody else be successful. I was pouring all of my ideas and my experiences and my thoughts into other people and elevating them. And I was comfortable with that because I personally have never wanted attention. So in a way, it was the perfect setup. I got to do meaningful work and stay completely out of the spotlight.
That's interesting, because from the outside, that looks like incredible humility. But you're saying there's a line where humility can tip into something else, like withholding almost?
Exactly. And I didn't see it for a long time. It took being disrupted. The humanitarian sector was hit very hard in 2025. Resources dried up, there were widespread layoffs, and suddenly I was at a crossroads. And in that disruption, this door opened, LeadTrue. And I was not entirely sure I wanted to walk through it, if I'm honest.
You've said you didn't even have the confidence to become an entrepreneur, even though other people believed in you. So what actually moved you forward? It was the vision.
I had this clear sense that the work I had done for one organization, helping leaders communicate with heart and strength and faith, that it could now reach many. And I am a very determined and driven person, and I will manifest the reality that I want for myself. I don't wait around for anybody trying to deliver it for me. I'm simply fulfilling a vision that I had. So even without the confidence, I just started.
And the pace of what you've built in 9 months is honestly kind of staggering. A consulting client, multiple books in your Life of Leader series, a weekly newsletter on LinkedIn and Substack, over 60 YouTube videos, and an online course in development. How are you thinking about the newsletter and the content side of this? Because that's a significant commitment. So here's what happened.
I realized that visibility isn't just about showing up once. It's about consistently showing up, right? The newsletter is a way I can speak directly to leaders every single week on LinkedIn, on Substack, and give them something real, something they can actually use. It's not fluff. And the videos, the content, it all connects back to the same 3 pillars: visibility, trust, credibility. Those aren't just things I teach, that's the journey I've lived. Does that make sense?
It does. And I think that's what makes it land differently. It's not theory. Now, you made a decision early on that I want to dig into because I think it's one a lot of Christian business leaders wrestle with. You decided to openly center faith in your brand, and you knew what you were risking stepping out of a faith-based organization into the broader marketplace.
I would this might actually hurt my business. This is a risky concept. It potentially may have a direct impact on my ability to provide for my family. I had just lost my job and I needed to make a living, so the stakes were real. But I put it on my website anyway. I talked about it in my content and my newsletters, and then secular magazines started putting me on their covers, not once, but multiple times. And they asked me questions and I answered with complete transparency, weaving my faith into every response. And they printed it all, word for word.
Wow, what did that feel like?
I said, "Oh my gosh, God, you did it. You let me speak your truth to the public without being penalized for it, without being filtered." I was blown away. And each time it happened, my conviction just deepened. If God could open those doors, I would walk through every one of them and use whatever stage I was given to point back to Him.
That's such a powerful moment. And it connects to something else in your story. Your faith wasn't something you grew up with. You found it, or were found by it, during university. Can you take me back to that?
Yeah, I was under a lot of pressure. It was like a pressure cooker situation. And my friends started inviting me to this campus fellowship called Lighthouse. And that's where I just started to open my heart to the idea of God. And it wasn't really a revelation, it was more like, I'm just coming home. Like I was on a different track, and it was just like God hugging me and saying, just come here, Kristin. And from that moment, I never turned back. The burdens I'd been carrying, the grades, the performance, the approval, they just lifted.
I want to ask about something you said, that you've prayed what you call the most dangerous prayer you know, asking God to use you in the biggest way possible, and then immediately wanting to take it back.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, oh no, can I take that back? I'm not sure I'm ready for this. And then the very next day, an interview request would arrive or an opportunity would open, and I'd just smile, shake my head, and show up anyway. Because I started to realize if I do this all for God, it makes everything possible because it isn't about me. I am the vessel through which I point to Him.
I love that framing. And you have this image, the dandelion, that I think is one of the most practical and beautiful things you say to other leaders. Can you share that?
Yes. So, my advice to leaders navigating the tension between faith and professional visibility is this: be a witness, but have high hopes and low expectations. High hopes that your words will point people to God, but remove the pressure that you have to do the transformation yourself. God will do the transformation. We simply have to be a witness. It's like blowing on a dandelion. Just blow on it and let the seeds go where they go. God will cultivate the soil and let the plants grow, but they can't grow unless you blow on that dandelion.
That is, I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. Kristin, this has been such a rich conversation. Before I let you go, what's the one thing you'd want a leader who's been hiding, maybe staying behind the scenes a little too long, to hear today?
I'd say God asks us to be a witness, regardless of how it impacts us. Let everything you do be for God's glory. Let Him shine brightly through you. The world doesn't need more hidden light. Step forward. You don't have to be loud about it. Just stop withholding who you are.
Kristin Ebanks, founder of LeadTrue, thank you so much for being here. If you want to read the full article this episode is based on, the link is in the show notes. And if this conversation resonated with you, share it with a leader in your life who needs to hear it. We'll see you next time on Kingdom Factor Collective.